Hello everyone, my name is Veronica. This is my husband Aaron and my mom Jackie, and today we are going to discuss the pros and cons of cell phones becoming a major part in children's lives. So, my husband and I have two little ones, and then my mom has a 17-year-old boy, which is my brother. So, we're first going to talk about little kids, 6 and under, and then talk about older kids that can drive and that are in high school. So, with little kids, let's start with the pros. So, children 6 and under, we can download the games which help them with reading, their ABCs, counting, colors, and all those learning activities. It also teaches them responsibility because they're holding the cell phone. They know that they can't damage it or drop it or lose it. So it's teaching them that they have to be responsible for the object. It also teaches them discipline because when they get in trouble, we can take the cell phone away and that upsets them, and then they understand, like, okay, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so if I'm good, then I can have it back. Time management obviously is a big thing when dealing with cell phones because some parents just give the phone to the kid and then they want it all the time. And then the last thing about having cell phones with little kids is that it allows them to have fun, but they're also learning with all the games that you can download on the cell phone. For example, my daughter, she is 2, and she loves playing Elmo on the cell phone. She can bake with it, she can learn colors, it teaches her how to count, it teaches her how to draw the ABCs. But there are cons with using cell phones in little kids. So what do you think some of the cons are?
Some of the cons?
Some of the cons, yes.
I guess obviously the most important of the cons would be that there's a lot of things on the internet that aren't appropriate for children of that age, and you can't always censor all of that out. There's, hackers are always coming up with things that avoid parental controls and things like that, so I think that there's always a slight risk of your child seeing something that they shouldn't see or something that might be confusing for them.
I agree.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I remember reading something online saying how kids were on YouTube and when they were navigating thinking that they were watching like SpongeBob or Paw Patrol, it was actually the characters killing one another or harming the character.
Exactly. I think another con is that it is something that even though they're using their, sensory and things like that to navigate through apps and things like that, they're sitting on the couch, they're not really very active. They're sitting around, they're playing with the phone, and it's just they're zoned in on one thing. They're not really engaging in too many different things in their actual world right then and there.
Yeah,
So
I agree. They're not really getting that outside time.
not just outside time, I think engaging with other human beings versus staring at a screen,
That's a good
so.
point. What do you think some pros are then?
The pros, I guess, would be obviously the learning, some of the apps,
Yeah.
and especially like you brought up Elmo, Sesame Street on the TV, is you're just watching it. Back in the day, you just watch Sesame Street and you listen to what they're
Yeah.
saying, whereas now they have these games that you can actually interact with. And we've seen it where our daughter will, select numbers and drag them to where they need to go, and it's just watching her learn with those apps is amazing, so.
I will say our daughter, who is 2, she does use the cell phone once in a while to play her games, and she is so smart. She can count to 10, and like when she's drawing the letter for the ABC, she'll say it. And it's very amazing to see a 2-year-old do that at such a young age. So now we're going to talk about older kids who have cell phones. For example, I was 14 when I got my first cell phone, and my parents saw this as a way of me communicating when I was at school. If anything happened, if I got hurt, or for example, if I was staying after school for a sport, or to let them know if I had an away game or a home game so they can meet me there, things like that, or if I was staying at a friend's house. It just really allowed me to connect with them. Another pro would be responsibility again, because older kids, they need that example and they just need responsibility to teach them, okay, when I get older, I will have to pay my own cell phone bill and things like that. Another thing is when a teenager is driving, they need a cell phone in case they get into an accident or if they need to reach somebody like 911. So my little brother is 17. So Mom, what do you think are some pros of him having a cell phone?
Responsibility in case he gets stuck somewhere, he can call me and then I can go get him or
Yeah. So it really boils down to them being responsible and that they can contact their parent. Another pro would be if the parent or if the child has parents that are divorced. This allows the child to communicate with either parent and to let them know what's going on, to check in, and that way, if it is a bad relationship between the parents, then that way they don't have to communicate. I do know a family member personally that does that. The daughter is 7 years old. She has her own cell phone, and it allows her to communicate with her dad when she's at her mom's house and vice versa, and it makes things a lot easier for them. Some cons are they can be very distracting. For example, in school, some kids can get caught cheating by using their cell phone, looking up on the internet. Social media is very distracting in school because the child or teenager isn't learning. Texting and driving is a big one for teenagers. That is very irresponsible, but at the time they don't realize that it's irresponsible. Do you have any thing that you want to comment on about the cons with teenagers having cell phones?
I think you hit basically all the main points. I mean, the obvious ones are texting and driving and connecting. You know, being connected with your parents is a good thing, but then you're also connected a lot more to social media, which opens up, other areas of possible danger, as in, predators of that sort.
Oh yeah,
you know what
I wanted
mean?
to
And
get into that.
it's
actually.
a lot easier for people to access other people now, especially younger, more naive
True.
people with cell phones.
Yes.
So
Sexting and older men contacting younger women on the internet is definitely something that we see nowadays. So that
or
is
vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. That is definitely a con. I think that we can agree that the pros outweigh the cons, though, that children should have cell phone usage, but it should be limited.
Mm-hmm.
You guys agree?
I agree.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Cell phone data, I don't think anybody, until they get well into their teenage years, should have any sort of data. I think it should just be voice and texting, the basic necessities to pretty much just for safety reasons.
Yeah,
Other
I
than
agree.
that, it's just unnecessary.
That's true.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate it.